I was looking over my notes there. The things I find is that when you're about to entertain 400 people, you sort of shrink all your extrovert senses because you've just got to explode on stage. So that's what I'm doing now in my tank top.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Well, cheers, man. Thanks. Well, how are you feeling, Dad? This is the first appearance at Leicester Square Theatre. How are you feeling about it?
No, I'm excited. Excited, a little bit nervous. Obviously, you need the adrenaline.
Yeah.
But very proud, and I just don't mess it up.
You'll be great. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see the reaction when you walk on stage.
Good evening. Some of you know me as Ali's dad. Some of you know me as El Tony. Thank you, Roger. Ali's always wanted to make people laugh from a very early age, and tonight it is my great pleasure and with immense pride that I'd like to introduce my son, the hugely talented and very funny Lea-Wilson!
Actually, I didn't ask him to do that. That was weird. Thanks so much for coming. How are we doing, Leicester Square? We good? Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. I'll tell you about me, right? I am trying to tell people that I love them. People I know, not just random people. But they all hate it. I have a really call with my mum. I said to her, Mum, I want to start ending this call by saying I love you. She laughed at me. You ever been bullied by your own mum? She was like, we know it, we don't need to say it, what's the point? She's Nigerian, by the way. And she's Scottish, I'm half Scottish. Love going up to Scotland. I used to like my name Ali Woods until I did this gig in Glasgow where the MC there introduced me by going, ladies and gentlemen, now time for a man whose name is two places you can get molested in. Lea-Wilson! It's especially annoying as well because I actually changed my name to Ali Woods. It's not my real name. My real name is Church, your uncle's house. Bless her, my mum, she's trying, man. She's trying, but it's just a generational thing. She doesn't know how to do it, you know? She's trying to talk about feelings and things, but she just doesn't know how, because she loves me with like an aggression. At the moment, right, what she's doing, she just comes up to me, grabs by the face and just goes, are you sad? If you're sad, Ali, and not telling me, I'm going to give you something to be sad about. I'm like, I'm sad now, Mum. This is her generation. She was brought up in 1960s Coatbridge. They didn't have a mental health conversation back then. The closest they had to mental health was, hey, did you get headbutted today? And that was mental health. Her dad, my grandpa, his saying about mental health was, everybody's got their own problems. They don't need yours as well. And he was a therapist. And his mum, my great-granny, her saying whenever she saw someone she thought was ugly on the street was, the sights you see when you don't have your gun. So they were moving in the right direction. I'm not going to express myself. I think a lot of British people aren't good at emotions. Like, British people, we don't even say, like, how are you to each other, really. We've got a question for that. It's, You alright? It's a yes/no question. And there is a wrong answer. It's no. I don't care how difficult your life is at the moment, right? If I might come up to you and go, you're alright, and you're like, no, actually, what the fuck are you doing? Say yes and move on. So I'm trying to be more expressive, right? I don't tell my friends I love them, not sober anyway. I got two best mates in this world, Dan and Jack. We all met at uni. We really get on. It's great. And I've sat with them many times. And I've looked at them and I thought, these guys make my life better. They make me laugh every day. I'm going to tell them how much I care. Gets about here and then comes out, fuck off, you prick. They know what I mean. I wasn't taught it at school. I wasn't taught how to talk about stuff at school. I went to an all-boys school, which is a very posh thing to do. I will say it was a free all-boys school. It wasn't sort of private boarding ones. We hear weird stories of them all competing to jerk off onto a biscuit. Last one to do it has to become Prime Minister. You know, we weren't allowed emotions. If you showed any emotion when I was at school, everyone would just go, that's gay! And then you'd shut up. The worst part about that is we didn't think we were doing anything wrong. A mate of mine actually came out while we were at school, and in that week I was still calling everything gay. I was like, that tie is gay, your lunch is gay, you're eating a banana, that's gay! He was talking about tossing off a bloke last week. I was like, that's very respectable, yeah. Do you have a good time? We didn't know the subtleties of homophobia. If you asked me at 15, Ali, are you homophobic? I'd be like, I'm not homophobic, homophobia is gay. Now they're trying to teach LGBT issues at school. I think that's a good thing. No one agrees. Fair enough. That sort of crowd. Hey man, a lot of people agree with you. A lot of people in this country, they don't like it either. The most common problem people have with it, you get people going, I don't know why you're teaching LGBT issues at school. That's irrelevant. Or I don't know why you teach LGBT issues at school. That's irrelevant. I'm like, when has school ever been about learning relevant stuff? Did you go? There was none of that. Did you learn how to become a well-rounded person at school, Ali? No, but I could tell you the difference between igneous and sedimentary rocks. For about a week, and then I forgot. There's so many useless classes at school, man. I had a class called IT. Yeah? Not coding, not how to build a website, just IT. And IT was learning how to use computers, even though we already knew how to use computers, from a guy who didn't know how to use computers. Every week we turn up, he's like, here's how you copy and paste. We know, you fucking learn it, love it. I remember one week at school I had an IT exam and I'd broken my wrist that week. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to have to do this exam. Because, oh, that's right, guys. The IT exam was written with pen and paper. So I walked in all confident, I hadn't revised. I was like, Mr. Gracia, that was his name. I'm like, Mr. Gracia, I'm so sorry. I can't do the exam. I broke my wrist. He was like, no worries, Ali. That's fine. I'll write your answers for you. I was like, that's so kind of you, Mr. Gracia. Have a good exam, bro. I'll see you later, man. Take care. I'm misunderstood. So I don't know if you've ever failed an exam before, but there's normally a certain quiet dignity to it. Not when you're just sitting there for 40 minutes, saying wrong answer after wrong answer to the guy who taught you's face. And I just had the privilege of watching the light in his eye slowly die as he realised he'd wasted his life with me. Not all bad, though. He might not have changed your life in that class, but I think I did. Because he gave up teaching. So making a difference. I had so much useless stuff when I was growing up. I did karate for 12 years. That was a waste of time. I thought it'd be, like, impressive to women. So, no one's ever been judo chopped into bed. Oh, you beat up children wearing a dressing gown. That's sexy, you know? Didn't even work as well. 12 years, didn't even learn how to fight. I knew it wasn't going to work. I should have known because the instructor was called Paul. That's not a sensei name, is it? Paul. I don't remember that karate film, Crouching Tiger. Hidden Paul! Kids, stay away from Hidden Paul. It's a very different film. Paul was no good at teaching karate, right? I should have known, because at the end of every class he'd go, you know guys, we'll teach you taijutsu, yeah? But we hope you'll never have to use it. What am I paying for, Paul? What's the point of this class? If I was going to French lessons every week and the teacher kept telling me by going, you know guys, we are teaching you French, but we hope you'll never have to use it. I'm there keeping this language back, you know, just in case there's a life or death Francais emergency. Waiting for that one night, God forbid I'm walking home alone, it's dark, you know, suddenly there they are. 3 beret-wearing thugs jump out at me, stripy t-shirts and all. But I spring into action to fend them off, you know, the training finally kicks in. Je m'appelle Ali, où est la piscine, où est la bibliothèque? Doesn't work, obviously. Turns out they're mimes, couldn't hear a thing. C'est la vie. No, we weren't allowed to have emotions. Men nowadays, they're different genres and stuff. When I was growing up, we all wanted to be the same type of guy. It was a strong, silent type. That was it. Strong! Like James Bond. Before the bloody leftist ruined James Bond. See people complain about the latest Bond film. The bloody feminists have bloody ruined an English institution. They made him too bloody woke. It's like, did you watch the film? He's still going around killing people and shagging their girlfriends. What do you want him to do? I'd have loved to have seen a woke Bond. I think that'd have been brilliant, you know. Woke Bond in The Spy Who Respected Me. Dr. No means no. Walks across at the start, but instead of a gun, he's got a petition, because he cares. The world is not enough. It's all we've bloody got. Sign. Great plot of woke Bond as well. Halfway through, twist, takes paternity leave. And all the old characters are back as well. You've got Q, which is short for LGBT. And of course, Moneypenny, or then they should call Money Pound, because you're finally being paid the same as the guys. So I'm trying to be better, express myself, man. I think we've all had to learn to be better, you know, what we've been through the last few years. Pandemic, having to check in on people's isolations, having to have tough conversations. It's been a weird time, you know. I didn't think in my 20s I'd have a favourite type of national lockdown. But the first one's quite fun, you know? Oh, you'll always remember your first lockdown. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? Everyone messaging each other, the hysteria, the army are coming. To do what? I don't know. Shoot coronavirus. Oh, you're going to be your best self in the first lockdown, aren't you guys? I'm going to use this time. I'm not going to let this precious time go to waste. I'm going to learn Spanish. All your friends are from Guildford. I don't care. I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm going to write that book I've always wanted to write. You know that book I've literally never mentioned? I'm going to write it. Going to be my best self. 2 weeks of lockdown later. Yeah, fuck all that. Get Netflix on. Let's get another takeaway. I'm just going to be myself, actually. I spent the first lockdown with my housemate Dan. So I live with one of my best mates. So lockdown should have been pretty fun, just 2 of us hanging out. But Dan, in the first lockdown, he had a full-on mental breakdown, killing the vibe. This is your first lockdown, man. Keep it together. Difficult situation. I wasn't sure what to do in that situation. What we did was, and I don't know if you know you can do this, but it's an amazing service the NHS offers. What you can do if you're ever in this need, right? You can walk into an A&E at any time, and you can say to them, I feel at danger because of my mental health. And they will get you to see a therapist that day. How brilliant is that service, right? Exactly. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, 4 people care. But it's amazing, but it's genuinely amazing, and it's excellent as well because they treat it just like any other illness. They make you wait for ages. So you literally walk in, you're like, I'm thinking of killing myself. And they're like, yeah, just take a seat over there. Love NHS nurses, they're so blasé about everything. You can walk into any and be like, I've got a firework up my arse. They're like, yeah, just take a seat over there. It's lit, we'll just stand over there. I am busy. Don't know if you ever tried to convince your best mate that life's worth living, but sort of hard to do in an A&E waiting room. It's not normally where one finds their joie de vivre. Someone learning karate. I thought I'd keep talking to him, I didn't want to go on my phone, there was no signal, would have been shit. I thought, try and keep his spirits up, but he was having the worst day of his life, so he was a terrible audience. And I hadn't really done anything that he didn't know about because it was lockdown, so I was just trying to make boring pandemic chat, just awful, just sitting there like, I don't get what the deal is with banana bread, to be honest. What's the fuss? I've never finished a meal and gone, oh, you know what I crave? Fruit bread. That Matt Hancock's useless, isn't he? Yeah. Oh, at least he seems like an honest family man. I mean, that's good. Nice. Not one of those MPs who's just in it for fame. Oh, 3 hours and no one's ever going to get back. Then eventually, the therapist comes out. She says, we'll see you now. We got up, Dan went into this little room, I went to follow him, and the therapist stopped me and she said to Dan, do you want this ginger prick to come in with you? She's like, do you want him to come in with you? Because obviously it's a very personal thing. And Dan looked back at me and he said, yeah, I do. That's nice, isn't it? Appreciate that. Thank you. It's a wonderful thing with friends. I didn't know we were that close, to be honest. I never know how close I am with most of my friends. I sometimes sit there and go, who even are my friends? Just people who keep replying? Is that it? One day they stopped me like, well, we had a good run, and that's that. He was letting me into his private moment. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience for me, but obviously also it was a shame because that was quite a good opportunity for me to leave. So I went in, I was like, this day keeps going, and then I walked in. We sat down, me, the therapist, Dan. The therapist started asking Dan all these questions. Didn't ask me any, rude. You know what I mean? Apparently old Woodsy's not having a breakdown. But she's asking him all these questions like, how are you? How are you feeling? Why do you think you're here today? And within 10 seconds, she got out of Dan that Dan, my best mate, has had severe depression for years. I didn't know. I thought, what a shit friend I've been. I had no idea. I hadn't done the thing you're supposed to do with your mates where you go, how are you? And they go, I'm fine. And then you go, no. How are you really? Never do that with my friends. I feel like whenever one of my friends is a bit quiet, maybe something's up, I think there's a few options, like a flow chart, they come out of my head. One of the options is talk about it. The other options are take the piss, change the subject, ignore it. Oh, I love this side of the flow chart, don't you, lads? No more tears on this side. I realised in that moment I'd let him down. I haven't given him the space to express himself. I thought, I'm going to stop being a shit friend. I'm going to start being a better friend, right? I thought, what can I do in this moment? First thing I thought, I was like, right, I'm going to listen. I'm going to properly listen. I'm a better talker than a listener. I think a lot of us can relate to that. Like, you ever try and send a voice note on WhatsApp, hold the thing down for 2 seconds? 1 minute 30. How the hell did that happen? Oh, but then you receive a voice note from your friend that's 1 minute 30. You're like, oh my God, why are you dropping this podcast on me? Jesus. I've got to find a free afternoon to listen to your life. So I thought, I'm going to listen, okay? The therapist was amazing. She gave me all this advice. She said, look, we'll try and get you therapy in the long term, but what you can do right now is you can go back to your flat and you can start doing stuff that nourishes you, that makes you feel better, right? Away from drink and drugs, because that stuff will only make you feel worse. So I was like, right, I remembered that. So I went back to the flat with Dan, and I said, right, mate, me and you will be sober together. We won't drink, right? I'll do it with you. So we spent the first 40 days of lockdown sober. That was a long 40 days and nights. I don't remember hearing that from anyone else. How did you get through lockdown? I did Lent, mate. Smashed out Lent at the top. It's easy after that. And then I said to him, right, what's going to nourish you? What are you going to enjoy? Because I'll do it with you as well. I'll do that with you. And he had to think, and I was like, oh my God, what's he going to say? You know what I mean? Because whatever he said, I would have done it with him, obviously. If he'd have come back and be like, I really like tickling other people's bollocks, I would have, well, let's fucking go, let's do it. Weird thing to explain to my parents who are visiting, your platonic friends there, I just got my trousers around my ankles. I'm doing this for his mental health. He had to think. He came back to me and was like, I really love cooking for other people. I thought, that sounds great. Yeah. If you need me to be hungry for you, I'm your brother. Do you feel like starting the healing process now? Because I'm a bit peckish. It was fantastic. He was signed off work because of the breakdown. So in all this time, he just started cooking me all my meals in lockdown. He had trying out recipes, new dishes. Oh, it was fantastic. Like living with the depressed ratatouille. Ooh. What's the secret ingredient? Oh, the salt from your tears. Yum, 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 yum. Did put me under quite a lot of pressure to enjoy the food. That's all I'll say. Couldn't really go full Gordon Ramsay on about like this linguine made me want to kill myself. You can't. And that was us in lockdown, man. Every day I was waking up, I was trying to say, how are you feeling today? Trying more with that. I had a job myself at the time. I was working from home, which is great, working from home. If you've never done it, what a brilliant evolution of work that is. Working from home, how fantastic. Great for many reasons. Great for childcare, saves on the commute, that saves you time and money. And obviously the main benefit of working from home, which is the not working. Oh, what a perk that is. I couldn't believe people on Zoom were like, I'm actually more productive when I work from home. Did you know that about me? I'm actually more productive when I work from home. It's like, how sad is your home life? Jesus. Have you not got a fridge? It's a party. Then people came out with the other ones. Oh, but we miss the culture of the office, don't we? We miss the culture of the office. The culture of the office is make sure you do your fucking work. I much prefer my culture that I cultivate at home. Netflix on in the background. 3-hour lunch, treat myself, yeah? I've sent almost 4 emails this morning. I'm rushed off my feet. You ever masturbated on company time? I mean, it's freedom. And I hate it when you do it in the office. I'll just whip out your phone and start watching porn while you're at work. Unless you're a Tory MP, obviously. We were just trying to stay sane, like all of you were, I'm sure, same thing. Man. Just trying to do what we could. Went to the park. We went to the park a lot. That was the big Friday night out at the park. You come in, we're having a park crawl. I stayed at a park till closing. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could shut down a patch of grass, but apparently in London you can. I didn't know how they would do that, like the surly groundsman just walking up to all the groups, up to the teenagers. Right, come on, you got 15 minutes, finish your fingering. That's literally how they do it. That's how they close the pub in and they tell you to get out. And they also put chairs on the tables in a pub, which is such a sad sight, isn't it? You know, a chair on a table, night's over, right? And that's an indictment of British culture. They don't do that everywhere. I was trying to explain this to my Spanish friend. He couldn't believe it. He was like, oh my God, that is so rude. Why don't they just ask you to leave? I was like, Pedro, they asked us to leave hours ago. Their issue is we won't. Me and Dan, we went on this walk in a park and it was next to a canal and this dude on a barge just started shouting at us, hot chocolates! And we were like, is he calling us that? Is it? He just stared at it. He was like, do you want hot chocolate? And me and Dan were like, yeah. Because that's an adrenaline rush, isn't it? Going to the weird man shouting chocolate. I mean, that's what you're told not to do as a kid. His home is literally a getaway vehicle. So we went up to him like, yeah, man, we'll get some hot chocolate. He went, don't get the hot chocolate. I was, what sort of business is this? He went, get the apple juice. Yeah, let's get the apple juice. He went went into his boat, couple minutes in there, came out with 2 polystyrene cups of yellow liquid in it, put them in our hands, they were warm. That's not a good sign, is it, for apple juice? Then he went, that'll be £6 each. Each? He went, don't worry, lads, I put rum in there. Didn't ask for that. It's 10 a.m. on a Sunday. Why are you trying to spike us at the park, boatman? Started chatting to him, obviously, because there's nothing else going on, was there? Might as well chat to the man. We're just holding his pee, just talking. And here's one of these conspiracy theorists. Shock. It's been a good time for conspiracy theorists, you must say. Last few years, they've really come into their own. My favourite type of conspiracy theorist is the type that occasionally posts on social media. Look, I just want to say something, right? Comment below if you actually know anyone who's got coronavirus. Yeah? Do you want to say something, right? Comment below if you actually know anyone who's got coronavirus. And I always think, get some more friends. Because it's not happening in your little circle. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, you know what I mean? He might as well be posting, look, I just want to say something, right? Comment below if you actually know any women who've had an orgasm, yeah? Because I've never met one, you know what I mean? I think they're making it up, trying to control us. I'm not buying it! And that is true, to be fair. But, this bloke kept calling coronavirus the Great Deception. This is the Great Deception, you realise that? I didn't want to tell him the Great Deception was selling us his piss for £6. But... You did what you can in lockdown. You did what you could. Anyone tried dating in a lockdown? Few still single people, fair enough, right? It's embarrassing, it's humiliating, dating in a lockdown. Just messaging each other, should we go for a walk? Should we take this to the next level, get a walk in? Sounds horrific. But why not? There's nothing else going on. Especially even in a winter lockdown. Ugh, terrible. Putting on my sexiest puffer jacket, walking through the cold and the wind, meeting someone for the first time like I'm a Soviet spy. Are you Nicole? Okay, quickly, we must keep walking. If we keep walking, it is not illegal. You must move. If anyone asks, this is a Zumba class, okay? Keep moving. I don't trust my neighbor. They snitch on me for not clapping on a Thursday. We must keep moving. I know a man on a barge. We can trust him. He's a good man. Miss the socialising. That's the issue. Miss the socialising, man. I love it, socialising. I love a night out. I love it. I love it so much. I love it to death. I love it. Thank you, one person. I love it. With the lads, me, Dan, and Jack on a night out. I loved it. We had the best time. We love dancing. It's sick, man. Jack's the best dancer. We love dancing. It was so good. A lot of guys don't like dancing. You know, a lot of guys will go on a night out to stand. Oh, tune. Should we stand over here? Like that's... We love dancing. I love everything about the lads' night out. I love it. You know, back at yours drinking before the night out. 6 guys all wearing the same t-shirt. Yes. Same t-shirt, same haircut, same shoes. Yes, lads. Let's share personality between us, boys. We don't need one each. We'll be the same guy 6 times. Enter the club like a pack of zebras. How many of them are there? Strategizing, working out where everyone's role is going to be on the night out. Right, you go talk to the girls, you go to the cloakroom, you get the drinks in, you go to the dance floor. Tom, you stay out of the way because you're fucking weird, man. Tom's there like, we're getting pussy tonight. Shut up, Tom, Jesus Christ. Why is he here? I don't know, he just keeps replying. Oh, but you need your Toms. You need your Toms because you need the camaraderie. Oh my God, you ever been rejected in a nightclub? It's brutal. You get rejected before you finish the breath with which you were going to say hi. Just got to go back to lads like, yeah, she got a boyfriend and she's gay, so was it possible? You know, no one... Sometimes you try 2 in a row, you're like... Just hyperventilate in the middle of Wetherspoon, it's not a good look. Love a night out. And I've got to say, to the pandemic's credit, it possibly contained my favourite ever night out. In a pandemic, it was a great time to go out. I'm not talking about illegal raves or anything like that. I'm talking about the weird middle bit where we were all allowed out, but there was still a global virus with no cure. The stakes were so high. You'd leave your house being like, I could kill my nan, but I fancy a pint, and you're off! What a thrill, what a rush! Assembling a group of 6 like an apprentice task, who's going to fit the bill? Get to the front, start your night with a lie. Ooh, guy on the door there like, you all the same household? Yeah? You're there with 5 other mates exactly the same age. We're a family. In you go, kids. Get in, you feel like you've done a heist. Oh my God, they bought it. I should be an actor. Scene. Temperature guns? Oh, that was an intimidating way to start your night out, innit? Gun in your face. Always made me super nervous at temperature guns. I never knew what to do. Anyone else smile when they were getting their temperature checked? I'd always walk up to a bloke like, you right, mate? Don't look warm. Love a night out? Love a night out. That's why I wanted to get vaccinated, back to normality. I loved getting vaccinated. I was there every week. Loved it. It was actually, I didn't even know this, it was people in my age group who rejected the vaccine the most. I didn't even know that. It was people in their 20s in this country that rejected the vaccine the most. And I don't like the argument against this, right? Because you're people going, well, I don't understand why these people in their 20s won't get the vaccine, but they're exactly the type of people who on the weekend, they'll be doing pills, they'll be doing powder, they'll be doing drugs, and they don't care what's in that, do they? I'm like, yeah, good point. But have you tried that stuff? It's amazing. Have you had the vaccine? It's like a come down, innit? They wanted young people to get vaccinated. They should have made it more of an event, you know? Do it in a big warehouse, give it out in balloons, that'd be a laugh. I'm healthy! You know? NHS staff, they're just on coke, so they just get through everyone really quickly. I've invented a new one, come here, you go halves on it. Got dudes in bucket hats walking around being like, yeah, I had 1 dose of Pfizer, I wasn't really feeling it. Mixed it with an AstraZeneca, I was fucked, mate. Had to have a Moderna just to level me off, you know what I mean? 3 a.m, you're flagging booster, get involved. All that was to come though, innit? That's the problem with the first lockdown, as fun as it is. The first lockdown, the problem is, don't know how long it's going to be. 2 weeks, 2 years, you don't know. You know? So I was just back at the home with Dan, trying to help him out as much as I could, but it was tough. I genuinely did not know what to do. I didn't know what to do. And I was asking people advice. Anyone who checked on me, I'd ask them for advice on what to do in this situation. And do you know what the most common advice I got from people was, have you tried moving out? That's how we deal with this stuff, you know, ignore it. That's the way people like to do it, man. That's how we're told, but I don't want to do that, you know. So I thought, I need to learn about this. So I got this book on mental health, right? I got this book on mental health. It's called Reasons to Stay Alive. Worryingly short book. It's great, though. I'd recommend it. Teach about anxiety and stuff. I wouldn't recommend reading Reasons to Stay Alive on a train platform. People don't like that. It stresses them out. And I'm in London as well. You know what they're like. They're not worried about my safety. They're just worried there's going to be a delay. You ever see those viral clips of someone about to throw themselves on the track? People save them. And I was like, yeah, that's us to London. And be like, oi, not this one, you fucker. Jesus. I've got to get to a job I hate. Christ. Even though I'm more productive when I work from home. It's ridiculous. It's tough situation. I wanted to cry, and I hate crying, right? I think a lot of guys can relate to that, the shame you feel when you start crying, you know, you push it down. Like, I didn't cry for 3 years at one point, and I was like super proud of that. I thought it made me like more of a man or something like that. Even though it's a normal bodily function, you should be doing it. Like, if my mate came up to me and went, you know, Ali, I haven't done a shit in 3 years. I wouldn't be like, nice one, bro. He's like, yeah, dog. I'm just keeping on top of things. You know how it is? I think a lot of guys can relate, you know? You feel those emotions, the crying emotions, bubbling up. You're like, push it down, push it down. Feel it bubbling up, push it down, push it down. We think we control it with our head, right? Crying and coming. That's two things men have a battle with in their head. Just stop it. Hold it. Hold. You shall not pass. Even though they're both great things, you know? Never do them at the same time. But I think you should do it, guys in here. You should cry. But it's just something we're taught with, you know. There's no biological reason why we shouldn't. And my female friends, they don't have this issue. They've not had that pressure, so they're all emotionally mature. I love it. It's great, you know. I ask them, so my female friend, I'll see her, be like, how was it over at Hannah's last night? And she'll go, oh, it was amazing. We just had one of those nights, you know, where you just like talk about everything, you just let it all out, you know, watch a sad film, blah, you know, just great, blah, you know, just like, it was like, we just like, blah, blah, you know, it was just, we talked and blah, you know, and then we talked some more, and blah, and another sad film, Brian Gosling was there, blah, you know. You enjoyed that? And she's like, yeah, it's amazing, come back for fresh, I had a problem at work, blah. It's fantastic. Such emotional maturity. But obviously you have been fucked up in a different way by society. Because I could go to that same female friend with all her emotional maturity and say, oh, great, and have you done a shit today? And she'll be like, who the fuck told you that? I have never done that in my fucking life. It's a normal bodily function. You should be doing it. Men, we're not a problem for us. Men will come out of the toilet, say to their partner, I've just destroyed it in there. Like, this is our honeymoon, Darren, you know what I mean? I wanted to cry, but I didn't want to cry in the flat because I didn't want him to feel like a burden. So what I did was, my plan is I put my headphones in, I'd go for a walk and I'd cry on the walk, right? And the great thing about where I live in East London is if you're bawling your eyes out in the middle of the street walking, you're only like the 12th weirdest guy out there. You're competing with a lady trying to sell one fish. Like, where's she got one fish in her hand? There's like a dude just grinding up against a bin, giving you eye contact. Like, what the fuck is going on? Not even gracing the top 10. But I felt like I was happy to do it. It didn't feel like a burden at all, to be honest. I was happy to do it. It was tough, but I was happy to. Because, to be honest, like, I've lived quite a nice life. You know what I mean? This was as traumatic as it gets for me. Like, honestly, the worst week of my life was probably when my grandpa died. Now, I was very close with my grandpa. I'm actually named after him. He's called Church as well. And so I was in bits, obviously, when it happened. Because, like, when, as a family, we go up to visit, it was always me and him up last, talking about stuff. It was wicked. I loved it. And I try and, like, pick some wisdom from him, because he was in his 80s by the end. Like, he must know things. And I remember this one time, I was just sitting there with him late night. I just remember going to him, Grandpa, what's the secret to happiness in life? And he took this long breath. He was like... Is that your last breath? It's reanimated. And Ali, life is going to be just fine as long as you've got money. What? That's not the homespun charm I wanted, Grandpa. Might as well have asked Biggie. Money over bitches, Ali, remember that. Your granny, she was a hoe. Also, money. Is everyone going to have money? I'm a millennial clown. Can't even afford to put my heating on. He was great, man. I was devastated when he died, obviously. I was in bits. And I went over to visit my mum because it was her dad. I want to see how she was doing. And I saw my mum crying for the first time in my life. 25 years, never seen her cry. She's a very strong woman, excellent mother, but she never lets herself be vulnerable in front of her kids. And she was crying. And I sort of thought, right, I've got to do something. I've got to help out. And I just sort of remember what she taught me, and I just like got up, and with all the love in my heart and compassion, I just went up to her, just grabbed by the face and went, "Are you sad?" And she was like, We hugged. It was a wicked moment. Dan and Jack were very supportive of me. Very supportive in that week. They were sending me messages, saying they were thinking about me and stuff, which is what you want your best friends to do. But then what made that week even worse was there was a house party that week, and Jack decided to sleep with a girl I just started seeing. Yeah, weird move. Should have been a better dancer. It's tough, man. I couldn't understand it. I was devastated. It wasn't about her. It was just more that he'd done something he knew was going to hurt me in a week where I was hurting already so much. And I remember saying to him, I said to him, like, Jack, what you've done is just, I can't agree with it. I can't get my head around it, and we've got to stop being friends. And he went, yeah, that's cool. And I went, well, I wanted a bit more than that. We had a friend breakup, very weird friend breakups. No one knows what to do, because you never know where your friends are, really. They exist in the grey area, you know what I mean? Like, in relationships, you're always checking in. Where are you? Where am I? Where are you going? Where am I going? Where are we going? You know what I mean? I don't have that conversation with my friends, like, where are we going? Nando's? Are you hungry? I don't know. Like, I can't text my male friends, happy friendversary. They'll kick me out of the group chat. We want horrific memes only, please. Because I'm at a weird time in my life. When I was younger, friends were the most important thing for us. It was all about your friends. We were all single, running around. We were all about the friendships, right? But now, I'm in my late 20s. It's shifted, right? A lot of my friends are now getting into very serious relationships with very nice, very boring people. And I'm happy for them. But I will say, a part of me will always prefer the earlier awful relationships, just because the stories were so much better. You know what I mean? You'd ask them, like, how was the date with that guy? And they go, oh my God, so he didn't turn up. Then he calls me 2 hours later. I was already at home. He was like, I'm outside. I'm like, what the fuck? So I let him in. I know I shouldn't have. Anyway, you know he's a drug dealer, so we do loads of drugs. And then we had sex. It was like the best sex of my life. Anyway, his phone calls again. It's his wife. She's downstairs. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The guy's a douchebag, but the content is incredible. And now I go to them, how was your weekend? They go, oh, it was wild. We got a couch. Fuck off. You ever have your friends start dating someone new and you ask for a picture of what the new person looks like and you can already tell that they don't think they're that attractive? You ever had that? We're like, oh, can I see a picture of him? And they're like, yeah. Get out their phone, start scrolling, start making excuses like he does a lot of charity work, actually, and he's much taller when you meet him in real life. You get a picture, there's like so many filters on it. Why is he a Simpson? Just show me. Get another one, he's in school uniform. Show me what it looks like today. Eventually you get the picture and you have to go, aww. Oh, he looks so reliable, doesn't he? You've got a good one there. He won't cheat on you, believe me. And I myself, I'm not exempt from this. You know, I'm in a relationship now. It's a new thing, but it's great. We're in love. She's awesome. Thank you. I honestly appreciate that. She's awesome. But I don't want to be one of those people at my age who just gets in a relationship, leaves all their friends behind. You know what they're like. It's like, goodbye, people who help form my personality. I've got Lauren now to spend every day with. It's them gone, you know. Especially when I'm having the types of friendship that I'm having now. Oh my God, me and Dan, we're closer than ever. We've been through it. We talk about stuff. It's great, you know. I've had the privilege to watch him go to therapy, work on himself. He's now more confident. He's more himself. He's safer than he's ever been. And it is genuinely a joy to watch the person he's become right here. And I just think I appreciate that. And he should get a round of applause. He should get a round of applause for doing that. But my issue is, did it have to get to the brink for us to have these sort of conversations? Most common thing you'll hear from people when someone comes out with depression, right? Most common thing you'll hear from people around them is, we never knew. We never knew. Last person you'd expect. I had some suspicions. His favourite band is Radiohead. Of course he's miserable. I just didn't want to talk about it. I was a coward. I didn't want to talk about it. I let my friends down, you know. There was the flow chart and I just wanted to ignore it every time. They'll deal with it themselves, you know. I thought about how many other friends I'd let down that way. I thought about Jack. I thought a lot about Jack. You know? I thought so much about him that I thought, I need to see this guy. So we met up for lunch, right? And in this lunch, I started asking him all the questions I should have asked him for years, right? I asked him, how are you? And all the Jedi mind trick shit. Turns out that Jack has had depression for years as well. I started to think, maybe it's me. I said to him, you should try cooking for me. It saves lives. Jack was sad, man. Jack felt so guilty about what he'd done to me that he thought about throwing himself off a bridge. And I said, good. It's good to know they care, innit? But what he'd done is he'd realised that he sought validation from women. Right? That's why when he had the opportunity, he would happily fuck over his friend just to get some sex, right? He sought validation through women, and that's what he realised through going to therapy. And it makes sense, because when we were out on the pool, me and him back in the day, you know, it wasn't about like getting with girls or anything like that. It was about the story. That was what it was about. It was about coming back the next day to the guys, you know, Jaeger bomb stain down your Fred Perry top, going, gentlemen, gather round! Do I have a tale to tell ye? We did it for each other. Did it for ourselves. Sometimes we come back, Jack hadn't pulled. He'd be like looking well sad. Sometimes he'd even been crying, right? And I'd look at him and be like, that's probably because Crystal Palace drew today. And I'd walk off. But it was there right in front of me. I let him down. And now he's great. He's happier than he's ever been. You know, it's awesome to see. He's got a girlfriend. He wouldn't show me a picture. He's got a girlfriend. I'm just thinking how many other guys there might be out there. It's only when you start talking about this stuff, you realise how many sad men there are. They're probably in this room. There's so many sad men. So we got to start talking, right? We got to start talking. And it's tough, I get it, because men don't talk about anything serious. Like, even there's misconceptions. People think men talk about sex. You're sex obsessed. You probably talk about that all the time. Not really. Especially not the bits that are specific to us, you know. I've never sat around with the fellas and gone, so what's everyone's thoughts on erectile dysfunction then? Even though it's probably good to do that sort of thing. You know, I personally quite like erectile dysfunction. I don't like erectile dysfunction. I have a soft spot for it. Because I love the name. I love the name, erectile dysfunction. That's so funny to me. It's such a strong name, such a timid topic, you know. It should be called like softie syndrome or something like that. Who's called it erectile dysfunction? That's too aggressive. Might as well call it flaccid attack. Erectile dysfunction should be the name of a metal band. That makes more sense, doesn't it? You can see that some rock festival in America, you know, ladies and gentlemen, go absolutely crazy for erectile dysfunction! Everyone's going wild, woo, yeah! And then they don't perform. Men need to start talking about our dicks. We need to. Very sensitive topic. Dicks. Size is obviously a big one, no pun intended. Size. A lot of men are nervous about their size. I know that my penis is fine. It's fine. No one's ever seen it and gone, wow, it's just fine. And that's fine, isn't it? My girlfriend said to me recently, your dick is the perfect size. Then she goes, I don't get what the deal is with the big ones. I'm like, where's that Reasons to Stay Alive book I had a minute ago? But it's an insecure thing for a lot of men this size. I get it, because we make fun of small dicks. Oh, we make fun of small dicks. It's so good, isn't it? It's so funny. So funny. It's fun for all the family. But let's be real. 2023, it's body shaming, isn't it? Taking the piss out of someone for something they can do nothing about. And I think we'd probably progress as a society if we stopped doing that. Having said that, I'm not going to be the one to start that movement. I don't want to be welcomed onto the news. And now for our next segment, can a little thing be a large problem? We're joined today by small dick advocate Ali Woods. Just name would have been fine. I'm perfect, not about me. It'd be chaos, just women in the crowd being like, I actually found a smaller penis more pleasurable. Her boyfriend's like, shut up and sit down, Karen, Jesus. Everyone's watching this. I don't want that life. Guys sending me pictures of their tiny dick pics like, keep fighting the fight, man. You know? Suddenly I'm the face of mini cheddars. It's just too funny, small dicks. They're too funny. Men can be like, and their little dick, it's just so good. So we can start talking about our dicks, and then we can move on to emotions after that. But I know how much emotions can impact people's lives, right? And chatting about this stuff, I know it personally, because at the end of the first lockdown, me and Dan were going to go out to meet another 4 housemates for a pint. He stopped me and he said to me, look, Ali, I don't want this to go to your head, right? But I think if we hadn't had those conversations that we did during this lockdown, I don't think I'd be here. I was like, how can I not let that go to my head? I'm amazing. I saved your life. Never buying you a fucking pint, mate. Best friend ever. If Jesus was to come back, I'm just saying, if Jesus was to come back, I think he'd be embarrassed to be in my presence, you know what I mean? Because I did Lent as well, so we all did stuff, Jesus. Talking about emotions saved my friend's life. And that is why I'm trying to tell people that I love them. Thank you. I don't like my friends, man. They're dickheads. I know my friends are dickheads because they've all run a tough mudder. If you don't know what that is, you have to run through mud, icy water, and barbed wire for 10 miles, so at the end they can present you with your new profile picture. I don't like these endurance challenges, man, because they're just for people to show off how great their lives are going. That's it. They exist for people who need to go out of their way to find an obstacle to overcome. They don't exist in every country, you know. There's not a tough mudder Malawi. Someone's saying, well, I have to walk 7 miles to find clean water, but it is good training for my Ironman in June. For the privilege, man. Have you seen the advert for Tough Mudder? It's people completing it. It's never a diverse mix of people from different backgrounds. It's always just a horde of big white guys with short back and sides, but playfully long on the top. After I finished my degree at Exeter, I got my job in the city. Life just got a bit too fucking easy! I know these dickheads, right, because I'm one of them. I hate myself, believe me, I've run a tough mudder, me and a load of other people whose lives have clearly been going easy up to that point, not gonna lie. Not the honkies there. Big group of white people, which I assume is called a parliament of white people.